So after the news broke that The Last of Us would be remade for the PlayStation 5, many were disappointed, me included. The main reason for this is that, well, The Last of Us was already remastered in 2014, and more importantly, it's already a perfectly well-performing and great-looking game. There simply is no need for a The Last of Us remake, especially when The Last of Us 2 is already a very similar gameplay experience. So, assuming that Sony absolutely has to remake something, I thought it would be worthwhile to look at the PlayStation games most deserving of a remake. Hey there friends, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Andy, and today we're going to look at the 5 games Sony should remake instead of The Last of Us. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Game number 1. Motorstorm. PlayStation used to be a great space for racing games. Gran Turismo used to release fairly often, and on the PlayStation 3, we even got a new franchise called Motorstorm. Now, why Motorstorm, you ask? Well, Motorstorm was the launch game of the PlayStation 3. At the time, the graphics of this game were unbelievable, with the environments, vehicles, and especially the mud looking phenomenal. But even better was the fact that the off-road racing in itself was outstanding. Whether on a hill, on a rocky landscape, or in desert environments, it was always a pleasure to play. It was you versus everybody else, and you had to use tactics to decide whether to go after other players, since they could be destroyed or fall off a cliff, or go your own way. I love the fact that bikers could give the finger, and it gave the game that extra sense of personality, especially the online mode, which was just so much fun. The music was stellar too, and gave off that festival vibe the game intended to. Motorstorm received 2 sequels, each kinda worse than the last, even though Motorstorm 2 was a decent game. But the original Motorstorm really stood out, and especially in an age where Sony is lacking in the exclusive racing game department, I really feel like a remake of Motorstorm would be perfect.
A storm is coming. The land braces itself. Welcome to Motorstorm.
Game number 2 is Warhawk. Oh my god, Warhawk. What an absolute treat of a game. If you've never heard of Warhawk, you'll either be very sad to do so, or very happy. Happy because it existed, but sad because it ended. Warhawk was an online-only third-person shooter taking place on beautiful, timeless, vast maps with extreme variation, from a more populated traditional region to a tropical island mountain place to a snowy world and one high up in the sky. In Warhawk, you could play as a trooper, jumping into a car, a tank, aircraft batteries, and even fly around in the titular Warhawks. The Warhawk might seem OP at first, but no, each and every class was balanced to perfection as each had weapons countering each other. Warhawk let you play in games with up to 32 concurrent players, but much more outstanding is that you could play online while at the same time play 4-player couch co-op, which I have seen virtually no other game of this scope ever come close to offering. In its heyday, Warhawk was fast-paced, intense, strategic, and just so much fun, with a soundtrack that just absolutely nailed it after every update. Warhawk was easy to just jump into, and was so much fun you could play for hours on end, mastering your type of playing, whether that was as a defensive or an offensive player. Warhawk especially deserves a remake because it's so timeless that even a remaster would flipping do. So please Sony, just remake Warhawk. Game number 3 is Killzone 2. Killzone 2, man. When this game first came out, it blew me out of the sky, out of the water, whatever collection of atoms you want to combine. Killzone 2 was the shit. The graphics were revolutionary, still somewhat holding up to this day. The story inspired by a mix of Star Wars and World War II, a dark sci-fi setting between the Helghast and the ISA. The guns were heavy as heck, contrary to Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which was fast-paced. But Killzone 2 just felt so good nevertheless. The battles actually felt like war, with some really great and large open maps, where every kill meant inching closer to victory. The story was interesting and rather unique, with some really cool set pieces and characters. No Killzone game after really managed to capture the Killzone 2 greatness, which sadly spelled the series' current decline. Even more reason then to remake Killzone 2 with upgraded graphics and some modernization of the control system in 60 frames per second would probably be a massive hit. Come on Sony, give me a Killzone 2 remake, I know you can do it. Game number 4 is Jak and Daxter. The Jak and Daxter series is arguably my favorite PlayStation exclusive series ever. Its platforming is timeless, the graphics are timeless, and the stories are timeless. The hard part here would be to pick which game to remake, since each title offers some unique elements. But if I had to pick, I guess it would be natural to start with the first, namely Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy. Precursor Legacy is also perhaps the one most acutely needed. It takes place in a fantastically wholesome world with vibrant colors, amazing music, and some uniquely wonderful platforming mechanics. Seeing Geyser Rock, Sandover Village, or Sentinel Beach again in PlayStation 5 graphics would literally make me cry. I mean, it's obvious that Sony needs to remake this game, right? Plus, it's another Naughty Dog game for Christ's sake, so Sony, come on! But even Jak 2 or Jak 3 would be perfect remake candidates. The sequels are furthermore much longer than the original, with arguably more varied gameplay as we're given different guns, vehicles, and side quest type challenges. The Jak and Daxter series is just overdue for remakes, especially considering the horrible state of the PlayStation 4 port of the PS2 games. Game number 5 and the final title on this list is Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. Metal Gear Solid 4, believe it or not, was my first Metal Gear game. It was rather hard to get into the full background of the story, even though the game honestly did a really good job of conveying the old information to the player. But the best thing about this game was the combination between the gameplay and the story. Metal Gear Solid 4 revolutionized Metal Gear games and offered varied locations with a ton of characters. The gameplay was also varied and left much of the progression up to the player. I think MGS4 is rather contested because it was so cutscene heavy. But the fact that the game was linear, but allowed you to choose your way of passing through each level, made it unique and particularly fun while keeping that serious vibe. I have played every other MGS since, and still think MGS4 is the best in the franchise. A remake could even go a long way into not only updating the graphics, but modernize the controls a bit, even though this was a massive step up already from MGS3. And those were the top 5 games Sony should remake instead of The Last of Us. You might have noticed that all of these titles, except from the Jak and Daxter series, are from the PlayStation 3 generation. Contrary to The Last of Us, which already got a remaster for the PS4, none of these games are available to play on either the PlayStation 4 nor the PlayStation 5. They are stranded on the PlayStation 3 console, and now, not even available for purchase on the PlayStation Store anymore, and some never were, like Motorstorm. This is why Sony should really look into more PlayStation 3 remakes that are not The Last of Us, since, again, The Last of Us came out late that generation, in 2013, and 2 still looks and plays amazing on its PlayStation 4 remaster. There simply is no need nor desire for a remaster, especially after The Last of Us 2 released last year. But what do you think? Are you excited for The Last of Us remaster? Or do you think Sony should just remake something else? Or just focus on creating entirely new franchises altogether? Thank you so much for watching, friends. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.